Welcome back to another episode of the Noble Steady Sort of Sports Talk. We're back today with an ATS episode for the playoffs in the NFL.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs.
Yes, we are. We are talking about playoffs today, gentlemen. How y'all doing? How's it going, Joey?
I feel like Shane wasn't ready for the playoffs.
He was not.
I was not. That was good. It caught me off guard.
I want to drop that in for y'all on
You
this
even-
episode.
you
Let's
even-
have some fun today, gentlemen.
You had said it, and I'm like, he's gonna drop it. He's gonna drop it. I know it's coming.
Shane hasn't been around for when we used to play around with the sound drops for playoffs and stuff. So yeah, that's basically like you said, you heard it. Playoffs. Shane, I know I caught you off guard. How you doing today, buddy?
Good, brother. I'm doing good. I'm ready for some football and see if we're gonna pick right this time.
Well, it's always a gamble. Hence why it's called gambling. Anyway, let's just jump right into it, guys. The first game on the playoff slate it's actually happened today at time of recording. It's going to be the Los Angeles Chargers, who are a 2.5-point favorite at the Houston Texans, and the over/under is 42.5. We do have a consensus here where we all are thinking this game's going to go, but Shane, why don't you take it forward for us?
I'm going with Chargers -2.5 and the under. I think the Texans just haven't looked that sharp. Their offenses seem like it's lost. I mean, I think Harbaugh knows how to win playoff games, and I think that it's just run heavy game. I think that the Chargers come out victorious, and Ladd McConkey has 10 receiving yards in every quarter.
I was going to save that fun little special till the end of it, but yes. Hopefully, him and Nico Collins have 10 receiving yards each quarter. Joey, which Shane kind of covered what we're thinking here, but let me know your thinking behind it.
I mean, one thing that you can guarantee in a playoff wild card round is that the Texans are going to have the first game of the Saturday slate in the same time slot.
Yep. That's what I'm, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. The Texans to me are just a weaker team. I don't, Ladd McConkey, Justin Herbert, they're playing well. Jim Harbaugh knows what he's doing. I mean, I feel like I said earlier in the year, I think Houston's a little bit ahead of schedule. I could have seen this game going either way with some kind of fluky last minute field goal, but I took the Chargers, and I really don't think it's going to be a high scoring game. I mean, 42.5 it's going to be probably a 18 to 15 game. It's going to come down to a field goal.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like Shane said, heavy run game. CJ Stroud just seems very off this year. I don't know if people caught up with Ben Slowick. I don't want to be a dead horse with that one. I've said that many times that this team just doesn't look like the team they were last year. Justin Herbert, like you said, Joey, Ladd McConkey, like y'all both mentioned. Love it. J.K. Dobbins, I think, has a big game. I see this kind of being 17-10 kind of game, if you ask me. But I like the Chargers -2.5 in the under as well. Anything else you want to talk about on this game, guys? Like I said, I feel like we're all kind of consensus, which makes this subject a little boring. I will say the over/under, I can see that one missing, but I'm very confident in the -2, the 2.5 we're given to the Chargers here on that one.
I know it opened. The spread has stayed very consistent since it opened. Even the over/under. So,
yep.
This seems like a very predictable game.
We'll see. And of course, meaning that since we all pick the same, what's probably going to happen is Houston's going to blow them out just because that's how it goes when we all are consensus.
Yes.
But let's move right along to a very interesting game that's going to wrap up today's games slate at time of recording. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers going for a divisional matchup in the playoffs, going to Baltimore, who is a 9.5-point favorite with an over/under of 43.5. And just for you, Joey, I added in some weather statistics. It's going to be 30 degrees with clear skies and 8-mile-an-hour winds. Shane, who you got and why, buddy?
I'm going Ravens -9.5 and the over. I think the Ravens are going to blow out the Steelers. The Steelers have looked rough for the past 7 games.
Yeah.
I don't think they did themselves any favor. They were looking good with Justin Fields. They switched to Russell Wilson. They have not looked good. I think Lamar's looked different this year. I think he's going to break that stigma that he can't win in the playoffs. So I think they're going to score a lot of points. And I think they're going to run all over this team.
That's very fair. That's very fair. You think it's more of a running back game, or do you think Lamar's going to use his legs to really, or I should say Derrick Henry game, or do you think it's more Lamar takes over this game?
I think they're going to try to beat home his MVP candidacy, and I think they're going to be throwing the ball, have him run the ball. I still think Derrick Henry is going to be effective, but I just a gut feeling. I normally I don't like going with the big point spread like this. I would always give in a playoff matchup the I would take the 9.5, but I just think that the Ravens beat them by potentially 20.
Oh, okay. All right. Joey, I see you're kind of like-minded with Shane in our picks. Why don't you give a little insight on your picks as well, buddy?
So the last time these two teams played was in Baltimore. The final score is 34-17. And also, the contrary to what Shane said, Lamar Jackson has won in the playoffs. The only thing is it's been against the AFC South teams twice. I just
go ahead.
I think it's just that the Steelers are just a weaker team. Typically when you have two playoff teams like this, and it's who's the stronger team. Well, we all know it's the Ravens, and we know, and typically you have some kind of way that an aspect of the game can carry you. Well, I don't see anything carrying the Steelers. Russell Wilson is a shell of his former self. He had a little bit of a renaissance, but coming down the stretch, it just hasn't looked pretty. I don't think that 9.5. Yes, that's a big spread. It's going to be a 2-touchdown game, and it's going to happen probably beginning of third quarter. There's going to be some kind of momentum shift to just kind of push that forward.
All right, that's fair. And, they're a 4-game losing streak. Russell Wilson's looked like Denver Russell Wilson. They haven't been playing great. George Pickens is, wilding out on the sidelines. Y'all make a really good case. And with all that being said, I am taking the Steelers plus 9.5. Because one thing y'all did not mention is Zay Flowers is out this game with a knee injury. So you take the top 2 wide receiving option away from Lamar Jackson. Divisional playoff game, 9.5 points. Like you said, Shane, is way too many points in my opinion. I think they keep it close. I see this more as a 7-point game, and I'm going to take the under. I think it's going to be a kind of a slobber knocker, for lack of a better term, and I see more Derrick Henry, just with Zay Flowers being out, more running game. But that's where I'm at. I still think the Ravens win, but I'm taking the 9.5 and the under actually on this one. That's just where I'm at, because I don't see, if I'm being a betting man that I am, I just have a hard time hedging my bet on, Rashad Bateman really running that offense, or was Tylan Wallace being the key factor like he was in that last game they played against each other. So with that being said, I'm going to bank that it's an under game and that the Steelers can keep it within 9 points. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think Rashad Bateman could easily step in. He's looked great lately. And to clarify what I was talking about, Joey, that the talk all week is Lamar Jackson disappears in the playoffs. So he's 2-4. He has 1, but just like LeBron, he loses more than he wins.
True. And look, also, let's not also discount the fact that he does have to go through the Chiefs too. So that makes it a little hard for anybody in the AFC. That, like, I'm not saying Mahomes, I'm not saying anybody, like, just the fact that you have to go through the Chiefs. It's like all those teams that used to have to, like the Colts used to have to go through the Patriots. When Manning,
I think his performance, he reminds me of like Peyton Manning looked great in the regular season, like Lamar does, and then they look completely different in the playoffs. I think it's not, if they lose, it's not going to be because of poor play for him. I think he looks a little bit different than he has in previous years.
So here's the teams that he lost to in the playoffs. In 2019, he lost to the Chargers in the wild card round.
I remember that.
In 2020, he lost to the Titans in the divisional round.
Okay.
He won that game. He lost to Buffalo in 2021 in the AFC divisional round, and then he lost to the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game last year.
Yeah.
So, part of it is also, I mean, look at the year they went to the divisional round. I'm pretty sure they got the bye going into the playoffs. So, eventually I think he can find success. I don't know how much longer that window is going to be open for them in the playoffs. I mean,
realistically,
when Lamar's on your team, it's a different story. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean,
it kind of puts something in that door to keep it open, but you got to have that talent around you to be able to, go deep and make these runs.
look, I'll play contrarian here with you, Joey. On this one, this is probably the best roster he's ever had. I mean, he's got a running game that's not just no names that are. I don't mean to disparage like Gus Bus or Justice Hill, but Derrick Henry is a whole different tier of running back. The wide receivers, the fact that Rashad Bateman hasn't injured himself sneezing this year is a small Christmas miracle. That he's played the entire year. The two tight ends of Likely and Andrews, and man, the more I talk about it, the more I hate my pick that I just did. But he's got the offensive line. Now the defense I'll give you is a little shaky, but I just feel like this team is really built to accentuate his strengths in the playoffs instead of just trying to be like, hey, Lamar, go run around and make a play for us.
Which is weird to say about a Baltimore Ravens defense.
Yeah, no, 100%.
You think about the times of Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs, like those defenses were dominant.
And their offense sucked.
Yeah.
Horribly.
Horrible.
Oh, my God.
Those defenses were so good. Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl with them. Isn't that who the quarterback was?
Yes. Trent Dilfer. I'm pretty sure at one point Jamal Lewis was facing 9 people in the box every play. But is there anything else you want to add to this game before we go down memory lane with any more Ravens?
No,
nothing. You good, Joey?
Yeah, it's on Prime.
It is on Prime. This is the one on Prime.
Is this the first playoff game on Prime?
Yeah, this is the one that they're giving them. Like, hey, we give you all these crappy Thursday night games. We'll give you one with the with the playoffs, right? I'm sure they paid a pretty penny for it as well. But let's move right along.
Money.
Oh, then yeah, they do. Moving right along to another AFC matchup. We got the Denver Broncos going on the road where they're an 8.5-point underdog to the Buffalo Bills with an over-under of 47.5. And with your weather stats, we have 28 degrees at time of kickoff, estimated with a 5-mile-an-hour wind. That is cold, gentlemen. That is really cold.
That's what it feels like right now outside.
Okay, easy there. It's like 40 degrees down here, okay?
Yeah, but what's the feel like temp? That's the question.
Okay. Take it easy, meteorologist Joey.
I'm still in shorts, just so you know. I'm still in shorts in this weather.
No.
We know. But thank you for the update.
Yeah.
But look, I'm going to take this one first here since we have some kind of differing things here. I actually went with the Broncos at plus 8.5. That number is just too big. I like Denver's defense to kind of keep him in this game, and Bo Nix just to do just enough to keep it within 8 points. But I see it a touchdown game for Buffalo. Josh Allen's eventually going to win out with the offense, and like there's just games where he wills his team to victory this year. So I'm banking on that happening. If I'm betting on any wide receivers, I would not trust Amari Cooper. He may get the Surtain treatment this week. So if you're betting props, we don't usually cover that. That's one I would probably stay away from. And plus, he's been nicked up this year. But Shane, what are you looking at for this game, buddy?
I am taking the Broncos plus 8.5 and the over. I think this is going to be a high-paced game. I think Sean Payton's going to push the offense down the field. I think their defense is either going to be aggressive and potentially could score against them, or the Bills are just going to have to keep scoring and keep pace. So I could potentially see this being the upset of the weekend. I have another one that I think we're all in agreement, but I could see the Broncos winning this game. I don't want to see it, but I could see it.
Well, I think that you're not going to see the Broncos win this game. I think that, Josh Allen and that team is just, the MVP of the league is going to take over this game.
Lamar Jackson doesn't play in this game.
No, but Josh
Just
Allen
kidding.
does, and I think Josh Allen's going to be the MVP of this league. This team is too good to fall for these trap games. Sean Payton, to me, I think he's been the one that pretty much has been the difference for this team. I think if anybody else coaches it, I don't think they'll be this successful. But at the end of the day, this inexperience by most of these players on the Denver side is going to be what basically hurts them in the long run. I mean, yeah, the defense is doing well for Denver, but I just think this offense is too good.
My whole thing is it's like, in the fantasy playoffs, we talk about it a lot. The Broncos clearly have been the hottest team in the AFC going into it. They really, whereas like some of these other teams like the Steelers and the Texans have kind of like limped into the playoffs. I think the Broncos have caught their stride. So I don't want to see it. I'm hoping all my brackets, I have the Bills beating them, but I could see it being that's why I went with the points. I could see it being a closer game because the Broncos have just been in a groove, but I agree. Josh Allen's been playing incredible, and he could easily take this game over and shut him down. So
I mean, it's got to get to the AFC Championship game. Like that's the script writers are basically trying to tease the Bills all the way through, and why tease them and knock them out in the first round, depending on what kind of conspiracy theory tinfoil hat you wear. But
I don't wear any of them. That's too much for me to get into. But I'm rooting Bills Lions all the way. So
that is the Super Bowl that America deserves.
It's a Super Bowl that will unite America.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry about that being off the screen for a little bit, guys. I had a little technical difficulties on my end, but I think I'm good to go now.
Unless it's a Super Bowl that'll unite America, unless you live in Detroit and Buffalo.
Then it's a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
But so I wasn't able to hear any of y'all's takes, but y'all ran through the Bills in the Broncos game?
Yeah,
good?
yeah. So me and Joey were just talking with the Broncos being so hot at the end of this regular season. I said I could see this game. They could be the upset of the weekend. But I just, in my heart of hearts, I agree with Joey. I think the Bills, Josh Allen will take over the game. And I have another game, which I think all of us do, that will be the upset of the weekend coming up soon.
Yeah, definitely. So let's move right along and stop teasing the people here. Our next game is going to be the NFC matchup. We have the Green Bay Packers going on the road to face the Eagles, who are a 4.5-point favorite with an over-under of 45.5 points. And the temperature is going to be 37 degrees, partly cloudy. Joey, why don't you take this one? Tell us who you got and why.
I picked the Eagles minus 4.5. I could see this game going either way. I think even some sports books have walked it up to 5.5 for the Eagles, or -5 for the Eagles. It's going to be Saquon Barkley. Jalen Hurts is back. A.J. Brown's going to be –
He's playing.
Yeah, he's playing. So it's going to be business as usual for the Eagles. I think the struggle will come later in the playoffs for them. I just don't – these are the two teams that played to open the year, and I'm trying to pull up the score of that game. The Packers won. Packers won by 5, but there was a lot of injuries that happened.
So inconsequential. That was week 1 of the season, buddy.
That was also that was Rio,
in Brazil,
where they played on a soccer field where the grass is different.
Yeah, even if they played back in America and on their home turf and everything like that, I wouldn't count that week 1 matchup as any kind of indicator. It is so hard to track that.
But my thing is, my thing with that is, yes, that was so early in the year, but if you're the team that's on the wrong end of that, you still have that in the back of your mind, like, hey, we lost that game when we shouldn't have. The Eagles see that game as we should not have lost that game. That game should have gone very different. So, they have something to prove a little bit with that game, kind of say, hey, you beat us in week 1, but we beat you when it matters. So I think the Eagles will take care of business like that. And See where their playoff future brings them.
Fair enough. Shane, what you thinking on this one, buddy?
I think the Eagles got extremely lucky with who they have to play. If they had to play any other team, they'd lose. But Green Bay hasn't looked good. So if Green Bay was playing like they played last year, I would have took the Packers.
Fair enough. I mean, well, yeah. I mean, they were way hotter.
Yeah.
Jordan Love could actually take care of the football. Almost a completely different team at this point, just because of the way they were constructed and everything. So I'm going to go with the Eagles 4.5 as well. I see this game probably being the quickest game on the slate. I see him pounding the rock with Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley. I'm going to go with the Eagles, who I think are, and I'm going to say it now, are the most talented team in the NFC right now. Because you take all the injuries. Now, if Detroit was fully healthy, I'd take Detroit talent-wise. Detroit's still my pick to go to the Super Bowl because the road has to go through Detroit. But I'm telling you, I know y'all are saying the locker room dysfunction, all this stuff. At this point, they're playing.
Well, I don't know if Joey's saying that. I'm saying it for sure.
Well, I know you're saying.
I'm agreeing with that.
No, I don't understand that. I get it, 100%. It can do it. I just think they're at the point where they're playing like, okay, we're just so much there's so much talent here. We can overcome any kind of locker room BS because they haven't fallen off like they did last year. Like there's no long losing streak or anything like that. So
if they fall behind early, they fall apart.
Well, yeah, that's just the way they play, but they don't fall behind early that often because they run the ball.
Every team, every other team in this playoff can get up on them early and fast.
Okay, well, all right, let's run through them real quick. Just a fun exercise. Commanders, they've already dog stomped them.
They did not dog stomp them, Tyler. You keep saying that. They do not. They scored. They had to score 20 points in the fourth quarter, so they came back and beat them.
Ooh,
that's not frog stomping them.
Okay. They beat them. And look, I watched the game, and I felt
they
like
lost to them again.
Okay,
they lost to them, so they're 1-1 against them.
Okay, the Bucks. I see them beating the Bucks. The Bucks have no defense whatsoever, and it will stop the one person they're gonna like. They'll stop Mike Evans.
Bucks have proven to beat them. The Bucks have beaten them handedly.
Okay, no, the Bucks beat them 33-16.
That's fine. Wasn't somebody injured that game though? Fairly certain someone was injured that game. Anyway, besides the point, this is my opinion right now. That's all I'm saying. And then the Vikings, look, they're so hard to judge right now because Sam Darnold looks like an MVP candidate one time, and then he looked like a shell of himself seeing ghosts against Detroit, so that kind of worries me a little bit. And the Rams are, I don't know, man. The Rams are another one that's just kind of up and down.
They beat the Rams 37-20 earlier in the year. But
yeah, I'll say Saquon ran for like 250 yards on that one.
I will give, and we're going to talk about this later, I'm going to give the Rams a break because I don't think their mind is on the field. I think their mind is elsewhere. We'll talk about that a little later, but that they get the one pass where it's like, okay, I can understand if they would get their teeth kicked in.
Okay, well, let's move right along then.
I mean, I could be completely wrong, but I just from watching this team and seeing when they're down, the dysfunction they have on the sidelines, that their talent doesn't overcome that. Like they got a bunch of egos. They got I don't see them as a cohesive unit where the rest of these teams I feel like are playing a lot more cohesively.
And look, that's fair. And
maybe it's just I don't want to see a Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl either.
Well, no, I completely agree with you on that one. Completely agree. We don't need to see that again. I'm just going by, like I said, it's just I just feel like they have the talent there, and that's all it is. So it'll be fun to see how this all plays out. That's for dang sure. But we're all in agreement on that one, 4.5 in the under. Let's move right along to the next NFC game. It's going to be the Commanders going on the road to face the Buccaneers, who are a 3-point favorite with an over-under of 50.5. It's going to be 55 degrees with a slight chance of showers out there. Shane, who you got and why?
I think the Commanders beat the Bucs here. I think the Bucs can hang with them, so I went over. But I think it'll be a close game. Bucs are a little banged up, like you said. They don't have a lot of defense. I just could be completely wrong on this one, but I think maybe Commanders beat them.
No, I'm right there with you. I think I was shocked to see the Bucks as a favorite. I'm thinking it's more just because of the home team. Look, love what Baker Mayfield's done this season. Mike Evans, hats off. We've talked about him last episode. First ballot Hall of Famer, in my opinion. I just think the Commanders go in and handle business and at least keep it within 3. But I can see them definitely winning it. The only thing I can say is if, and I don't see it happening, is if Jaden Daniels just has a complete rookie game, which I don't see happening. So, like I said, 3.5 and over because I don't think either team really stops the other one. It's just who gets the ball last and kicks a field goal. Joey, where you at on this one, buddy?
I picked the Commanders in the over. I mean, listen, the Bucs struggled against the Saints to start. You know, they started off in a hole and they were able to dig themselves out. If the Bucs have that same style start, the Commanders need to jump on it and they need to put their foot to the floor, put their foot to their throat and not let off, because they have shown that they can come back. It could have gone either way. I leaned on the fact that, like you said, the Bucs defense, isn't what it could be. So I think Jaden Daniels and that offense is going to take care of business. And if they lose, like you said, they got who got the ball last. And what do they score?
And that could be a little risky, especially if it's like a tie game and score a touchdown, So the 3 is definitely a dicey number. I don't like not getting a half point either, but what you're gonna do, right? But I mean, we're all in agreement on that one. So we'll move right along to the last game on the slate, and we got a little news on this one. This is the game that was supposed to be in Los Angeles. It's the Minnesota Vikings going on the road to play. The Vikings are a 1.5 point favorite, going on the road to face the Rams. But the game is going to be now played in Arizona due to the wildfires, unfortunately, happening in Los Angeles. So we want to send our thoughts and prayers to the people affected by that, of course. But we're going to stick with the game right now, and I will let y'all take it. Joey, why don't you go first on this one, and we'll kick it around because we differ a little bit on this one.
So I was back and forth on this game coming out of last week. I thought about it a little more. I was thinking, maybe the Rams could take care of business and win this game. But after they announced that they moved the game and seeing some of the devastation out there, I'm like, some of these players might have their homes in that wildfire, so their mind's not on football. They're thinking about, am I going to have a home to come to? Is, everything going to be okay? So I think they're playing a little bit of distracted ball, and I think that's what's going to basically take care of business for the Vikings. If Sam Darnold can reverse what happened last week, then, at least show that he's involved in the game and not see ghosts, then they should be fine. I will say that they lost to the Rams earlier in the season, 30-20. I know it was the first half of the year, but still, again, like I said, you have that in the back of your mind that could happen again. So that's why I took the Vikings minus 1.5, and it's going to be a low-scoring game. So I took the under.
Fair enough. Shino Mac, where you at on this, buddy?
This is the toughest one for me to pick because I feel like Joey, like they could be thinking that, or they could be like, hey, let's go out there and play for all these people and try to distract them. Hats off to the Cardinals. They sent 2 jets out to pick up like every one of the players and their family, apparently like animals too, dogs and cats. They sent 2 of their jets. So, bigger than football, obviously. I think the Vikings could have after a tough beat from the Lions, could come out flat, but I'm thinking that they're going to come out and play like they've been playing all year, and that could be a close game, but I think the Vikings win. So I think it'll be over. I could see the Rams offense is powerful, and so is the Vikings. So I went with the over and the Vikings.
That's fair. Look, I think that's going to be the key, right? Like, there's a lot of non-football stuff that we're talking about. Like, are the Rams going to be heads going to be elsewhere? Or like you said, are they going to be playing for their team? Are the Vikings going to come out flat after getting getting a very handily beating from the Lions. And Sam Darnold, look, that was very concerning. If I'm a Vikings fan, I'm very concerned about Sam Darnold right now. Don't get me wrong, he has played fantastic, but these are going to be the caliber of teams he plays in the playoffs. So the blueprint's kind of out. You get to him. He starts getting panicky and missing and seeing ghosts. Because I mean, what was it, 3 trips to the red zone and then they couldn't get it in? And there's at least 2 of them I saw where guys were wide open, where he just either refused to throw it to like let it rip, or he just missed the throw. Yeah, it's just so that's very concerning to me, and that is why, without further ado, I took the Rams at +1.5 and the over. I think it's going to be a shootout, but I think ultimately the Rams pull the upset and come out with a victory here. I don't think the Vikings. I think that's going to be a shot to their ego on this one, being that the Vikings are definitely going to be more of a pass funnel. So I expect big things from Puka Nacua today. And Kyron will get his 1 yard, 2 yard touchdown run, of course. So I see this being a very close game, but I have the Rams winning outright. That's going to be my upset of the week.
So do you want to hear so y'all know NFL memes?
Yes.
On Facebook. So I saw a thing this morning that it's a thing of irony in this. So I'm going to read it to you. The irony of the NFL moving the Rams-Vikings playoff game to State Farm Stadium in Arizona due to the wildfires, just months after State Farm canceled 75,000 insurance policies for LA residents due to a fire risk, is insane.
Yeah.
I get the closeness. I would have moved it to Vegas.
But no, I mean, I want to say they use Arizona a lot as a backup for stuff.
It's probably the ease of use of everything.
Well, that and probably like I guess Vegas might have stuff going on there, that kind of thing that could make it kind of difficult for maybe accommodations or something. That's my only thinking about it, but yeah, I kind of agree.
I don't think anything happens at State Farm Stadium around this time frame because I mean, when you think about it, you know, you come off the Fiesta Bowl, they probably keep it open just in case of like the playoffs for college football and all that. And now that it's a 12-team playoff,
it's easy fix.
Yeah.
So
and plus they probably have the resorts that can hold an entire football team for an extended period of time.
Yeah, exactly. But look, like I said before, our hearts and prayers go out to the people affected by those wildfires right now. It's a horrible situation, and we hope it gets handled soon. But we will say I'm excited about the NFL playoffs. Look, great episode, gentlemen. I will say I enjoy the back and forth. We had a little bit of discourse here. I love it. I can't wait to see who's actually right at the end of the day. But we'll be back next time. Is there anything else y'all want to add before we sign off today?
I'm sure we'll get into it in the recap episode, but I think we're all in agreement that the Deshaun Watson trade is now officially the worst trade in NFL history, if not in sports history.
I don't want to say sports history because I feel like I'm going to miss one that's completely out of the box.
Babe Ruth for a play.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. But look, I will definitely say football history, it is up there between either him or the Herschel Walker trade. But this one, man, couldn't happen to a nicer guy. We'll say that. You know, karma is a powerful, powerful thing. But look, at the end of the day, he's laughing all the way to the bank. I think they're probably going to end up doing a injury settlement and cut him. That's essentially what it's going to come to. Or were they going to have him on his roster for 3 more years and uncomfortable as all hell? Anyway, but yeah, we'll get more of that.
Hopefully Dion will let Shador go there.
He won't. So Shador's either going the Raiders or the Giants. Let's call it what it is. He's going to force his way over there.
Is there talks? And I'm asking this question legitimately, just because my brain can't compute this happening again. Is there going to be another Eli Manning situation?
Maybe, but I feel like Eli had a little bit more power than Shador does.
You know,
I think
in the world of
good, Shane.
No, go ahead. Good. I was freezing up. Sorry.
Oh, okay. No, it's like I just feel like Eli Manning was the unquestioned number 1 overall pick, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm just not playing for the Chargers." I think Shador's going to be like, yeah, I'm not playing for the Browns. I'm not playing for this team. They're going to be like, okay, cool. Just drop in a draft. We don't care. Because he's not that great talent, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the only way I see that is that they're just like, screw you. We're going to trade you, so we're going to take you now and get more. That's the only way I see it.
That's my thing. Like, are we going to have to do, okay, well, we're signing this kid. He's going to go out there, and it's like, yeah, I don't want to play. I'm really disappointed. And then,
no, they'll do all that before the draft.
Because this is my question. What would happen if let's say that happens, right?
Mhm.
Let's say the Browns pick him. Or let's say the Titans pick him for whatever reason. And he's like, I'm not going to Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
And Tennessee goes, okay, well, we'll find somebody to trade. And nobody wants to trade. What happens?
He sits out the entire year, doesn't get paid, and his draft rights go into 2026.
I mean, I don't know about y'all, but there's already reports like 20 or so draft analysts or scouts don't even have a first round grade on this guy. So the fact that he's going to be picked in the top 5 or to 6 is just insane to me.
Is he though?
I don't think he's gonna.
I mean, it's worse people have gone in the top 6 at that position. People overdraft that position.
Oh, 100%. I don't disagree with you. So here's the thing, right? There's a lot of noise with Shador, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Look, it's a blessing that his dad's played in the league, has these opportunities for him. Not a lot of people have those advantages. But I don't know if he has the talent, and I'm not saying he's not talented, to overcome all that noise behind him, right? Like, our team's just not going to be like, look, I just don't want to deal with the headache. I don't. Because, like, if he goes to some team and he doesn't play well and the heat starts getting up on him, is Dion going to be in the background being like, oh, well, it's his wide receivers, it's his offensive line, it's all these people's fault, not his? I don't think Dion's going to be like that, because I feel like Dion's a person of accountability. But I'm just saying that, do you want to bring that possibility into your locker room? And at a very crucial position like that. So
Pro Football Focus has Shador going number 3 to the Giants. But the guy who did the mock draft says, truth be told, I'm not at all convinced a quarterback will be drafted in the top 5 this year. But until free agency proves otherwise, the Giants are so desperate for a quarterback that it would feel disingenuous to not award them one here.
I think, well, the Giants have to get a quarterback somewhere. Look, I don't see why you don't still get like Tyrod Taylor and just freaking wait till next year.
I would.
There's just no great quarterback class. Like, so you got Cam Ward, who has questions himself,
which he has. PFF has Cam Ward going number 1.
Cam Ward has the more physical traits and stuff, but Shador has the processing. And Shador is accurate as well. It's the arm strength for me, man. That genuinely worries me. He's got enough, but it doesn't pop off his arm, right? Like, when he throws it, it's not like seeing when Stafford throws it, or
it just kind of floats.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know how much tape you've watched on him, Shane, but that's what I've seen so far. But it's a little rough so far, arm strength wise.
Well, I feel like also, like, he's had the problem of, I know the first year it was the offensive line was a problem.
Yeah.
I didn't watch enough Colorado football this year to pay attention, but it's going to be, like, it'll be interesting to see for sure.
Yeah, no, 100%. Look, we got months before this happens, and it's going to be interesting. We're going to have some drafts up, 100%. But before we get too far in the weeds on that one, I feel like this is a good spot to kind of wrap it up, because, we got to finish this season first, right?
Right.
And look, I can't wait to see the way it plays out. I love the back and forth. We got different opinions on this show now. Like, let's go, gentlemen. Let's line our freaking pockets. Is there anything else y'all want to touch on before we sign off?
So I don't know if I should announce my bet that I have.
Oh, wait. Yeah, go ahead. I got to announce mine too.
Yeah, so you go ahead first. You go first.
So I saw some on Twitter or X, formerly known as Twitter, and I decided to run with it. So my bet currently is Ladd McConkey and Nico Collins to each have 10 receiving yards in each quarter. Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs to have 10 rushing yards in each quarter. And then to wrap it up, on the Monday night game, we have Justin Jefferson and Puka Nacua 10 receiving yards in each quarter. $5 pays out 20 grand. So let's go.
So what I did was I was strolling through, social media, and I noticed that there was a same game parlay. I mean, not a same game parlay. There was a special parlay that was done by one Will Compton of Bussin' with the Boys, and he had all kind of different stuff. I said, you know what? I think it was like $10 to win like 2,000.
Nice.
And so I was like, you know what? I'll piggyback off that. So I did all the selections, and I threw a couple extra things in. So I have anytime touchdown scorers, TJ Hawkinson, Kyron Williams, Isaiah Likely, James Cook. Okay. Mike, I think like Mike Evans was one of them, and then like somebody else was, but they're on my list to not bet because I've had them in the past, and they haven't gotten it. Then I also have Tampa Bay money line. I'm making sure I didn't.
No, you contradicted yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah, I did. I 100% did. I'm hedging my bet. Tampa Bay money line over 45.5 for that game, for the Eagles game, which I contradicted that one as well. The Chargers money line, the Bills money line, and then did I contradict myself on this one too? Yes, I did. Under 43.5. To be fair, I did this on a whim because I looked at it and I go, hey, that's what's my favorite line I like to say about how I bet?
All right,
I'm not retarded, but I like rocks. Yeah, that's how I bet.
Oh Lordy.
I am putting all of my bets on this one on another money line just in case to cover myself. But so a lot of times I'll look at a bet.
Joe, I don't know if I've told you this lately. I love you. I
do.
absolutely love you.
The only betting podcast where you go through the entire show and he's like, oh yeah, I laid this bet earlier in the week, and it contradicts almost every single one of the other ones he just fucking did.
It's fine because
don't listen to the first 30 minutes of the episode, gentlemen. Just get the last fucking part of it.
So, but this should tell you how my thinking has evolved to where it's like, hey, if I'm actually betting smart, this is what I'm doing. This is me betting really stupid, looking, going, I feel like betting. Okay, this looks good. Click.
I know. Look, we all have our journeys there, Joey.
Yeah.
Just never change, buddy. We love you. It's just so funny.
It caught me off guard.
Anyway,
really caught me off guard too.
So $5 wins $1,900 on that bet. So
there you go, big dog. I love it, man. Look, I don't think we go any higher than that. That's the best way we can end this episode. So, for everybody at the Noble Steady Sort of Sports Talk and the ATS crew, we'll be back next time with more picks, more recaps. Y'all take it easy, gentlemen, and we'll be back next time. Later.